Welcome all to the new sessions on Python and Java, and we're talking about both together for the first time. So we will do a lot of documentation around it as we go along. And there's a lot of hands-on approach. I want you to understand that questions may be many, but follow the instructions very clearly. And if you're facing any issues, I will help you to debug it. We'll figure it out as a team, what is happening. Now, having said this, the way I want to construct this program is I'm assuming zero skill set for most of you. So we will start from very basic fundamentals and move forward from there on. Now, team, do note that recently completed Java and Python videos are available, and there are a few I may want you to watch. Available. I'll share them as we go. What is it that we want to get along with team? So there's most of the focus that I want to put here is on project or a hands-on practice approach. So please cooperate with me on this. So which means that you'll have to interact a lot. So how we go about it as a journey, we'll discover that right now. So first and foremost thing, team, I want you to inform that there'll be bunch of things to set up and install. So keep yourself well poised with those steps. There are clear instructions for both. So here are the latest SDET Python videos. When I said that, don't worry too much. It's all basics of Python as a programming language. Almost about 20 odd sessions that we've covered. Couple more sessions that I wanted to do on API programming is left, but otherwise this document has a good one. So let me put those. And I'll also tell the reason I'm putting this document for all of you. Similarly, for Java, I have a different one out here. And this has gone through a lot of programs as well. The first and foremost thing, team, is for us to understand how can we get started with our programming. So the essence of programming or to the limits of it is boundless. There's plenty that we can achieve. But before we get there, the simple things that we need to understand. So both Python and Java can be installed on your local machines, on your Windows, Mac OS, Linux OS, and it will help you execute your tasks, programming tasks better. So for that, we need to do one thing. That's right. We need to do a download, the setup, installation, and so on for both of them. There's nothing different. What is also very important is how we write our programs, and that whole thing is done by IDE. So very important to explain what IDE is. It's easy for you to understand this. So the same would be for Java. We will use different IDEs. So the whole structure will be the same. IDE will be different for Python, but Java different. So the tool or application called IDE that we're using in Python is called PyCharm. And the one that we're using in Java, that's the Eclipse. Now, what are these IDEs, team? I just want to talk about them briefly. Can't I just see right trainings, new folder. I'm going pretty slow to begin with for the first few sessions, but we'll pick it up. Come on, it doesn't open a new one as control name. Save and saved it. Okay. Okay, I have to go back and create a new one. So, team, what happens is very simple. Let us say you're driving a car. Okay. Now, the car that you're driving today in the 2020s, compared to, let us assume, the car that we were driving in the 60s or 50s, 1950s, 60s, when the initial automobile industries were there. You're all muted, team, just for information on this webinar. When we are doing a Q&A, I will unmute you. You can raise your hand at this point in time. And if you have a question, meanwhile, you're welcome to put it in the chat. So the cars that were built, at least in the earlier history of our life, you would notice that they basically had very few features. And they said the human had to do most of it. Where how the everything with the car. At least if I talk about the recent features, then we can understand the latest. So think of features like navigation. Think of features like fuel being hybrid and so on. Think of features like the anti-skid braking or so ABS braking. What are the advantages that we kept adding to this car team? And all of these features are put to you in an easy to use interface on the dashboard. So earlier you had to literally go and open the doors or windows manually in the previous generations. But today you have everything centrally controlled from your dashboard. You have a great visibility, and you can also make changes to what has to happen. You can go from a sedan to a convertible, the touch of the button. All these features that a user can use while focusing on this main drive. The purpose of all of these, be it a vehicle 60 years ago or the one which is right now, they all have to take us from a place A to point B. That is the eventual thing. But what we are talking about is how can it be done more and more efficient, and how can it become something that is easy to control. So Java is something similar like a car engine, and so is Python. So just by itself, you will see that it does not have any easy interface for us, like a dashboard, which has a touch screen where I can switch between my radio to my MP3 to navigation to cameras and security, all of those. Out of box, these come as these. You have to play it around with a command prompt. So what we call a CMD command prompt, like if you go to Windows and say run and type CMD here, it will open up your command prompt. So for example, if I say Java, just as a type it would give you the details if Java is installed and what version and so on with it. Now, you could maintain your Java programs and run them there using command prompts or command line interface, just few keywords that I'm throwing at your end, or use an IDE. IDE stands for an integrated development environment. It makes things easy for you from one place to be able to do everything. So instead of having Java is powerful, like a great engine of a car, and so is Python. But for us to easily use it, for us humans, we use IDE. And some of the popular IDEs, there are a lot of IDEs in the market, is a third-party tool. The ones which we are using are Eclipse and PyCharm. Now, most important team, by the next session, I want you to all have these two installed and ready at your end. So the installation steps are going to be here for both. I've gone through a few. Actually, the day one also talks about it, how we install Java and Eclipse. Can you all, am I audible, team? I just got a message from one of the members saying no. So for those of you who have not gone through the installation, I want you to repeat this. Now, what is it that I want you to do? So that's Java. Okay, and now for Python, let me put that here. Almost the same. We're going to talk a lot about these. Now, this folder, I want you all have to have access to it. Let me click on this and say get shareable link, and I'll put this in the chat at the moment. Can you please all confirm that you're able to open the Google Drive and look at the document? I see one hand raised. Do you have a question, Jacob? I also see one more hand raised. Narasimha, do you have a question? If you have a question, please unmute and let me know. I'll unmute once you raise your hand. Okay. So team, my basic and most important expectation from you all is get Java plus Eclipse and get Python plus PyCharm installed. There are also the videos to the same. Let me quickly find it, people. So go to itlearn.com/webinar. I see a hand raised. Cameron, do you have a question for me? Where was this? Python. There we go. So click here. No, this is not correct. There is the Python. Don't take a click on the right one. Or maybe you click the different one. So here, watch I'm just giving you an idea, team. So here's Python, and I want you to watch the first 3 videos here, because in this you would have the basic and installation, very high level basics. Because once you're doing it, then we can start doing things parallelly together. The same for Java. I'm going back to the webinar, and this was recently completed. Again, let's do a different one. Is this the Code Java video stream? Anyone has the link to the Code Java? Why is it not there? Let's see it. Okay. 14, this is the ongoing one. 12. Sometimes it's easier. It's live project. I don't know why it's taking to live project. Anyway, put online courses, Code Java, could be here. And this is not March 2019. Guys, where is everyone? Don't you have the link to the Code Java videos? Old members? Give me some, I'm going to put that there. Now, if we are set with it, once we are done with the installation team, with both Java and Eclipse, we can launch our Eclipse team. What we're going to do is let us start to write some basic programs here, and we're going to slowly increase the complexity. Important is for us to look at it slowly, one by one. Thank you, Geeta. All right. So team, this document right now that I've shared with you all has the links to the recent batches, and I want you to just finish the installation. Once the installation for both Java, Eclipse, Python, PyCharm is done, we should be able to start. So step 1 team is let us write a very basic code in both Java and Python. Now, in terms of versions and so on, let's take it one by one. Let's get started. First thing is launch your IDE. And we're starting with our two hands raised. Any questions, let me know. I'm going to unmute you. Eclipse and PyCharm. So just a quick idea teams. Eclipse.org is an open source foundation that builds a lot of tools for Java and other programming communities. One of the popular platforms is the integrated development environment. The idea is very simple, team. So just like your car, it is giving you everything at the dashboard to easily handle things. So when we are installing this Eclipse IDE, you can write your same Java programs in Eclipse IDE and run them. It's much more easier. Once it is installed, team, you can launch your version of it. I have a little older version from mid of last year, I believe, on this machine, and it still works fine. If you do not have a little later version, it is a good idea to always upgrade. I'm going to call this, open up this, and it will take a minute or so to open up. Now, are you all with me so far? I'm trying to go in a pretty simple proceeding as long as I can. So this I'm going to call this as let's browse. I already created something for Java April, so I'm going to use this folder. And in here, I'll just say Java program. Now, the first thing that we do is create a workspace. So the way the development community works, team, is they're not necessarily sometimes working on only one task. They are given a bunch of other tasks also to work on. I'm trying to draw a file with tabs on it. So they may be working on this on a Monday, the other one on a Tuesday, the other one on a Thursday, and so on. Or something in the morning, something in the afternoon, and so on. How the user distributes them is their specific choice or the project's choice. Now, what I would want to do is, rather than keeping it like this, what the user is saying is, you know what, I'm going to use some colors to it. I'll say, here is one project that I'll work on, and here is another project that I'll work on. Here is a small project that I have, and maybe another project. And then what the user is saying, all of this small projects that I have is under one workspace. So think of it like boxes within boxes or folder structure. Okay. So the workspace is the main folder. Under your workspace, we will create multiple Java projects. And within Java project, we will have a .java programs within it. So these programs, when run independently or with other projects in integration, give us a good output. The same thing is there with Python also. We're using something different, but the approach is the same. So I'm saying Java programs, and I'm saying launch. So at this point, Eclipse has created a workspace for me. So tomorrow, I may have few more workspaces like this. Okay. And in fact, for example, I use about 6-7 workspaces for different projects, for different things within Java itself. So you have workspace 2, workspace 3, and each of them have their own projects. So the hierarchy is workspaces. Think of them like a table where all one project related files. They have projects under them or Java projects. And these Java projects have a .java class under them. Okay. Main program. It is nothing but a better way to organize. So once we have launched, here is the UI, a user interface using which we could do a lot of execution. So let's quickly write a couple of programs on this, both on Java, and then we'll also do it simultaneously in the PyCharm. Now, before we write the program, I want to document my needs. Say hello. That's it. I'm just saying I want to say hello. So I'm going to close this welcome theme. Please note, one of the most important caution things that you need to focus is there are so many features out here that are available. Not every feature is necessary for every user. There are core features that everyone must know, and that is something we will start with, and we'll keep learning more and more. So let us say you met someone like for the first time to use a tool like Skype. They may not understand all the features right now. How do I send messages, group chat, voice calls, send files? It will take them a couple of days. So is here. So our focus is on specific areas. Close this welcome screen. You would see the package explorer, or what we can also call as the projects under it. Now, the first thing I will do is create a Java project, or I can go to file and say new Java project. I would always prefer the menu bar theme because it always is available for us. Whatever you see here are just shortcuts that are coming up. Now, before I open up a new project, I just want to show you the way it is alive. So here's my menu bar. It's got a lot of features. Some shortcut buttons are also there. This window is where you will see most of your files and programs that you generate as a list, as exploring. This big space out here is our world of coding, what we do. We do not use too much of a task list or an outline, so we can neglect these. We use the bottom here more of console outputs or inputs on how to interact and what is happening to our text. So what we don't need, a UI, Eclipse UI has the ability for me to change the way it looks and what I want to do. I don't need certain things, I'm erasing them. Everyone with me? Okay, thank you. A couple of members could not hear team. Not sure. So Jacob, I think most of it is almost like read through or go through video thing. You'll be able to understand. So first action is go to file, click on new Java project. At this point in time, if your Java is correctly installed, you will see a Java, runtime environment. You choose the latest version that you have. Using default. Do not play around or mess around with too much. For the first 2-3 weeks at least, just focus on basic coding structure. So this, I'll call this as my code 1. A name that I am giving, a name that we want to give to our program as we go. Keep calling, and I'm going to say finish. That's all done, team. Done and dusted, and we put that there. So now this is a structure that is getting created everyone. What are these jar files that are free there? Don't worry about too much. The most important one is the SRC folder, the source folder. The same thing that I'm doing here, we're going to repeat them in every session going forward. So there's nothing for you to remember too much. It is the way we always start. Now we can right click on our source folder and say new class. So when I say new class, it is interpreting it to be a Java class. not thinking of something. And oh, see, that was my project. This is supposed to be my code one. And I just said, okay, can I change the name of my project here? See, the way I wanted to change. Okay. So let's see. I don't want to do anything that will confuse you right now. So at the moment, my code one, I want to change. See, remember I told you the hierarchy? Workspace, we have a project and then Java code within. So here is my workspace, Java programs that we're creating. My code one should be the name of the project. So I can right click and do something called as refactor. The primary difference between rename or refactor is if I, let us say, rename a component here, and that is being used by here, then refactor will adjust it everywhere. Rename is basically changing it at that specific one. So I'll say this is my project one. That is the name. And under project one, I clicked and I created this my code one. So there's no main method and I did not do it correctly. There's nothing in it. I will go back, say right click new and again another class. And I'm going to use check this public static void name. This is the most important one. Main method is where most of things will start. And let's name this as my code 2. The first one was not good enough for me. Now do you see there's a little difference in this? I don't want packages. So here is my code. There are two Java programs. And any Java program can be executed, and once executed, you'll see the results coming in here if there's anything that really happening to it. You can also see this code in your Windows Explorer. So for example, if I right click here and say go to, so there are a lot of options that you're seeing here, team. We will go through one by one a few of them. In the next 2-3 weeks, you'll have a good idea about this. So right click, where am I going? Show in System Explorer. So the System Explorer will open up my local System Explorer and show where that is. So remember I had a folder that I created called in trainings called Java API. Within that, I created another subfolder called Java Programs. In that is my Java project, my source folder, and my 2 Java code files. So the primary difference is it is the same code that I'm looking at in a black and white display versus something little bit more colorful to start with. What are the other advantages that Eclipse can give me? Lots more, but primarily whatever changes we do, we will see it happening here. The first and foremost thing, team, that we need to understand is how these programs are working. A program is nothing but it's got a bunch of steps team it wants to execute. A user is almost like pressing a button, okay, and the program starts to execute and it gives out certain bunch of results. And how this execution happens and gives out the results for us is called this running the program. When we say it is the result, the execution of the program. So during this, when the execution is happening, I want to measure certain. What can I relate this example to? Let us say I'm writing a program to drive a car. So the speed of the car is dependent on how much acceleration you give. So if a user is pumping in more acceleration, we have to keep on increasing the speed. That's what the program will do. Till it reaches the limit, till it finishes fuel, or till the user applies brake. It won't slow down. That's the purpose of that requirement. Now, what is it that we want to do? I want to just print the statement here and say this is my first and so end of my code. Can you all see the code easily? I don't believe the font size is good enough. Let's increase some simple features that Eclipse gives us to do. So I'm going to increase this font size team. It's a very simple one. Right click on these numbers that you see. Go to preferences. And in preferences, you basically go into colors and fonts. Just say edit. Increase the size to maybe 16 and say OK. Apply. I right clicked on the numbers, went to preferences, into colors and fonts, clicked on whatever was the font, said edit, increase the font and apply. Now you have something bigger to look. So here is my first command that you all need to learn and understand. It's a very simple one, looks big when it comes to Java, but it is a way that helps me to send a message onto the console output. So let us assume to run this code. So I'm going to control X this part, save this, and on mycode2.java, I'll say run mycode2.java. It will run this program and it will show us any results that we have here. There's nothing in here, so there's nothing to show. If I just do a simple hello out here and rerun this program, so it asks me to save and launch it before I run it. You see this new tab called console came in at this point, and that word hello is replicated here. So the same thing, if I add more lines, it would put the same number of lines out there and start printing. So save this again and launch. So I have 4 lines of code and prints 4. Java does not bother empty lines. So empty lines is basically ignored. There's a lot of small things seen like this that becomes important. Python also ignore empty lines of code. Now, this basically is the same code in essence to this code. Then why is it that I gave so many breaks? Makes it more legible, readable for all of us. The same exact thing, team, I want to now try using Python. Fair enough? And that's going to be what we're going to try and achieve every day, one by one. So for Python, like I opened Eclipse, for Python I'm going to open PyCharm. So PyCharm also has its own community edition, so no license on it. It's free for you to use and try. Pretty simple steps, team. The steps that I copied and put it into the chat. And now let's see where is our PyCharm. I think it's loaded. And please do note both Eclipse and PyCharm, these IDEs are good size programs. I think about at least there'll be around 600 MB to GB or so overall, if I'm not wrong. Thing. So what that means is it requires a lot of space. It takes time to launch. It has a lot of components in it. Okay, so that's a lot of other things. Now in here, I have few other projects. So I'll go to File, New Project. See, almost very similar in terms of the steps that we're following. It's a create project. I'm still waiting. So it's asking you to choose that location theme. Let's try and navigate to our folder. So where's our folder? Let's go. So let's start with C drive. Yes. Then we have trainings. Yes. Yes. Java, Python, API. Yes. Now in this, I want a new folder for PyPrograms. Okay. We're going to create more folders and project teams at the beginning level right now. PyPrograms and say, okay, and hopefully that is the one. There should be an interpreter that is there currently that is, and this is the first one that you need to do at your end team. Get this going. I will open it in a new window and close that old one. I don't need. Very slow to start. I think we can. So now let's look at our folder structure also, team. I'm very inquisitive in nature, in general also. Let's look at Java programs. There are now 5 programs of them. It's called something called VNV, and there's a folder called scripts, which got all Python scripts in here. There's nothing else that I see. So I have to achieve the same in Python. So to do that, what we're doing is in our virtual environment, I can create a new folder, or I can create in scripts also. I'll create a new folder called directory, my code, and in that my code, I'll say new Python file. So the first and foremost thing you'll start observing is any Java program will have a .java at the end of it. That's the file. So if you right click and go to the properties, you will see the extension is .java, that type of the file. When we are doing with Python, we are working with more. Where is it? Did I create new Python file? Is it doing something? Where am I? I'll just say new file for now. But new file. There we go. Now it's coming up. So Python file, I'll call. What did we rename it in Eclipse? Let's look at that. My code 1 and my code 2, right? So I'll call this as my code 1 dot python, not as dot java. That will be the code. And what is the requirement? I need to print these 4 statements. Now to print these 4 statements, it is predominantly very, very easy in Python. So I don't need to create a bunch of stuff. For example, I don't need to create a main method or a main class because it straight away goes through line by line interpretation. The whole only command that I need to use is print. I don't even have to use the long version of system.out.println. Okay. I'm just saying print hello. And I'm also not giving any quote at the end, sorry, semicolon at the end. So this is the change. Tick. And let's save this. I hope it looks correct. I'm going to right click on this. And what we can do is just say run my code one. And the output of this code, you would see it right coming away right below it. The beauty of this whole thing is very simple. Instead of a more longer looking code, Python code will always look much shorter than what we see in Java. And any questions so far, anyone? So we've got both the code started on Java and on Python. I want you all to be on the same level, please. Team, I've got a couple of requests. If I can change the background color to white on PyCharm. We don't need any main methods. What you see is what you require. You don't need any main method in Python. You want me to say any specific reason, team? You don't like a darker background? It's not visible for you or something? Because the white on our screen sometimes is overkilling for us. Okay, let's see. The only other thing that I wanted to show today is about comments. So I'm not taking too many notes. I want you to please start taking notes at your end. It will help us to move forward. So as we go through, you will notice that there is certain code or a piece of code that you don't want to execute. And to be able to do that, we comment that line of code. So let us say I want to comment end of my code. So I don't want line 11 to be executing, and I don't want to delete it. But at the same time, I don't want my Java program to read further on. So I'm just commenting here using 2 forward slashes, and that has a single line comment. The same that I'm doing in Java, Python, I'm putting a hash or a pound sign at the beginning of it in the commit time. We're going to continue from this tomorrow, team, and take this into a deeper level. I want you all to finish this and make sure you're all at this level. Both Java and Python, you should be able to learn to this extent. I'll get the videos uploaded. Please make sure you're registered on the YouTube channel. That way, as soon as the video is there, you can start uploading. Okay? Any other questions, team? Okay, I'm open for Q&A. Jacob, your hand is still raised. Do you have questions for me?
Yeah, where can I get this video, please?
Sure. So I'm just putting it in the chat. So the first 2 sessions, we will definitely have it on YouTube. So youtube.com/2pplearn, that will host the session. So if we go to the videos, you'll start seeing in the order in which it gets uploaded. Okay. And once we're done, we will put it on to IT-Learn. It will take us about minimum 3 to 4 hours team before I can put this video on any of those channels. We have to process it and upload it.
It's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you please upload morning session to any of HTML? Yes. I'm looking for questions, everyone. And I'm going to create a Skype group, so you all should be able to join that. If you don't have a Skype account, please create it, everyone, so it'll be easy for you to start interacting. Okay, I'll send the Skype group over maybe 2 minutes. Any other questions before we end today's session? Should not able to access any previous session videos other than recent estate. Sure, Kiran, can you please write it to Pavan, learn@itlearn.com, and also mark me? Yes, I'll keep it this way. We're going to do site-to-site programming for both. Thank you, everyone. Bye then. I'll see you back tomorrow. Take care all. Thank you.